Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Mars in the 6th house. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So just a few quick disclaimers before we start. You first want to understand what sign is Mars positioned in. Is Mars exalted in Capricorn, debilitated in Cancer, or in its own sign of Scorpio or Aries? Or is it in a sign that it enjoys being in? This is very important to understand the functioning of Mars in your natal chart. Along with this, you want to see, is Mars conjunct with any planets or receiving aspects from any planets? This will also make a huge difference in how Mars will function within your chart. Along with this, you want to see which houses are ruled over by Aries and Scorpio, as Mars will have an influence over these houses. Along with, is Mars compatible with your ascendant? Another thing to take into consideration is that Mars will mature at the age of 28. So at this time, Mars will also have a huge impact in your life, along when Mars returns back to its original location where it is positioned in your chart. The most significant event will also be during a Mars Mahadasha. So if you have not seen my video on the Mars Mahadasha Bhuktis, I will leave a link for that above and down below in the description. So what does Mars represent? Mars is considered to be an army general in astrology. Mars represents courage. It is all about our fighting ability, our ability to go for what we want. It is all about taking action. Mars does not want to wait to think. It wants to act. So sometimes Mars also can represent an impulsive tendency. Mars represents brothers, it represents blood, it represents sharp objects. It is a signifactor for real estate. So Mars is also connected with any property dealings. Mars is also a signifactor for mathematical skills and computer skills and is dealing with any kind of sports, athletic activities. It is a planet that is connected with our anger and passion. So it is also important to understand how to control Mars within our chart as well. So what does the 6th house represent? Well, this is a very interesting position because Mars is considered to be the karaka for the 6th house. The 6th house represents conflict, competition, litigation. It is any situation where we have to fight for ourselves, where we have to go up against opposition. The 6th house is dealing with diseases. It is all about our health and our daily habits, our responsibilities, all of the chores of life. It is all about our mundane life. The 6th house is also a house of loans, of debts, of divorce. It is any kind of legal difficulties that we have to face in life. It is a house of great competition. All enemies, competitors can be seen through this house. So the 6th house is ultimately where we have to deal with all of our daily responsibilities and obstacles. So what happens then when Mars is positioned in the 6th house of the natal chart? Well, Mars is happy to be in this house because once again, this is a house where we have to fight, where we have to go up against opposition, where we have to work. And Mars is a soldier, so this is the perfect position for Mars to be placed within your natal chart. This gives you a fighting spirit. You have courage. You're able to overcome many obstacles in life. Mars here can sometimes give you an intensity. You have this intense energy about you, and you want to be careful if Mars is not placed well in this house because this can attract a lot of conflict and competition into your life, as you sometimes can have anger and an argumentative nature about you. But ultimately, Mars here gives you the ability to fight for what's right. You are all about standing up for justice. Mars here makes you very headstrong. Once you've decided on something that you want to achieve in life, you continue to fight for you continue to move in that direction of the goal. So you're very focused, very fixed in this position. This is all about your willpower to push forward in life. Sometimes this can also make you a workaholic, or it can give you OCD tendencies. You are all about staying on top of everything, about dealing with all of the daily issues within your life. Typically, Mars placed in this sixth house will also make you stronger in life. Again, Mars does really well in this sixth house, so you tend to overcome obstacles. You come out as someone who is stronger, who is wiser, who is more resilient through many of the obstacles that you are faced with in life. Sometimes this can make you interested in fighting for the rights of others, fighting for the rights of animals, standing up against injustice, standing up for the underdog. Again, you are all about fighting for what is right. This can get you into professions dealing with the medical field, the legal field, or anything even in the military, fighting for a cause, standing up against injustice. Mars here can also help you to get rid of illnesses sometimes if it is placed well in the chart. Because Mars is a very impulsive planet, you want to quickly get rid of all illnesses and diseases in your body. You are very much connected with your health, with your diet. You want to get on top of all of these issues. This can make you someone who's very fit, very healthy, very concerned with exercise. If Mars is badly placed in this chart, though, this can give you all sorts of issues related to head injuries, cuts, bruises, high fevers. All of these sort of issues can come up. But again, Mars here gives you the strength to overcome these issues. This is a position where you also want to be careful about your actions, because Mars is directly aspecting onto the 12th house of hospitals and prisons. So sometimes you can find yourself getting into accidents, and if you are taking wrong decisions, you can also find yourself getting in trouble with the law. So you want to be very careful about your actions, about taking any kind of impulsive moves in life. You definitely have a skill in being argumentative, of a skill in debate. Once again, you're all about fighting with this position. So you are very headstrong in any kind of opposition. And sometimes this can create obstacles in your relationship with your father, with teachers, mentors. You are a hard person to give guidance to because you are constantly about being independent and standing up for yourself. Sometimes Mars in this house can make you opposed towards religion or opposed towards certain belief systems. You're very adamant about your beliefs. And so sometimes this also can break education, where you can have obstacles with your teachers. Sometimes you can make impulsive moves in your education, dropping courses, suddenly shifting in this area, specifically in higher education, as this is aspecting onto the ninth house. Mars's aspect onto the ninth house can also take you into foreign lands, and sometimes it can even take you into foreign settlement because it is also aspecting the 12th house. So definitely at some point in your life, this can take you into foreign locations, and you can have a huge interest in this. But sometimes if Mars is not placed well, you can also have some conflicts and misunderstandings in foreign lands as well. Mars's aspect onto the 12th house can also get you into conflicts with hidden enemies. You can have people who are out to get you who you are unaware of. So definitely with this position, you want to be careful about any wrong actions, any impulsive moves, once again, as this can create some obstacles and enemies for you. Mars in this sixth house can also give you a very powerful intuition. As it aspects onto the 12th house, you can be very skilled at getting below the surface, at uncovering secrets and figuring out people's intentions and motives. But sometimes this also can make you paranoid, where you have a difficulty with trusting others. Specifically, if Mars is not placed well in the chart, it can give these tendencies. Mars's aspect onto the 12th house can also disrupt your sleep. You can have very strange sleep patterns or can struggle from insomnia. Sometimes the aspect onto the 12th house can also give you some expenses. And if Mars is not placed well in the chart, then you can have a lot of expenditure. So you want to be able to control this. But if Mars is placed well here, then you are very good at overcoming these expenses. You're very good at coming out on top, dealing with debts, loans, and so on. Mars's aspect onto the first house can also once again give you some health related issues, but also giving you the strength to overcome this. Ultimately, though, Mars's aspect onto the first house is going to directly influence your personality and the way that you come across to others. So, again, you can have a very intense personality. You can come across as someone who's very intense in your interactions with other people. Sometimes others can perceive you as intimidating or controlling with this position. So you do want to be careful about how you are approaching and dealing with other people. Ultimately, you like to have your life in control, and this can sometimes create some obstacles dealing with other people. This definitely gives you an ability, though, to transform your life and your identity. You can go through many obstacles and come out stronger and wiser once again, completely transforming your entire identity and life direction. So, this becomes a very powerful position where you become resilient, where you come out as someone who is wise and experienced. And this makes you a great guide to other people. People can look to you for support, for guidance with this position. Sometimes Mars here can also disrupt marriage because this is directly 12th from the 7th house of marriage. So sometimes you can have some issues in this area, some disagreements, some conflicts, issues with divorce can come up, especially if Mars is not placed well in this position.